Greetings and salutations, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well today. Today I've got some Q&A from William. I know you guys have been dying to hear one long episode of Q&A. Also, Monday, I have a very, very big surprise for all of you. Before we get into today's upload, though, a couple links. As you know, I rely on my Patreon, my PayPal, and my merch to help this channel to continue to grow and go. All of those links are in the description below. I also have a second channel for creepypasta, fanfiction, and scary voice acting. Stories that really don't fit on this channel. Now, if that's anything you're into, follow that link and give those stories a listen. You may just like what you hear. Now I've taken enough of your time, guys. Let's get on with today's Q&A. Shall we? Groovy G asks, I was wondering, since there are Dogman and werewolves in Kimball and Menard, Texas, should I be worried about what's in Bexar County as well? Answer. Just ran all three again, with them being nomadic, and all three are safe zones as we speak. In this order, Bexar, Kimball, and Menard. Just remember this can change overnight. And it can all go from very good, like it is right now, to extremely bad in a matter of hours. It could change, just watch your signs. DB Kegs 888 Statement. Hey Jeff and William, you guys are in my prayers. Strange days indeed, more to come. Please know, UFOs are revealed by the Pentagon. Weird times are to come. Satan and his seed are falling here. These cryptids are being allowed to grow. William, you are being compartmentalized. To be, this is a matter of a cog. But it's for the Christians fleeing into the wilderness. To avoid the coming technocracy and forced system of surveillance, we will refuse the mark and head into the wilderness. And we will run headlong into the happy hunting grounds. They will see this as an invasion and act of war. And the book of Revelation says 1/5 of the world will perish at their hands. Time to get straight with God. The beasts of the field will show no mercy. William, you and your unit will not be able to handle the deaths and killing teams required. Be careful. The will program essential units. It's hard to leave the programming. I say this from personal experience. William's response to that statement. I can say this, and my superior is going to read, and he has already turned the sequence back over to me, and once in my hands I changed it again, and nothing had been done with it at all. I do have 3 men getting out in 7 more days, and the one who is I had picked for my second in command, so he also will have the sequence, and the second computer for tracking, much like I did before my promotion. If anything was to happen with these creatures, I will use them to protect the ones that flee into the wilderness. And not one person has thought of this yet. And believe you me, I would have the most extreme fighting force on land that could be had. I do not want to ruin my career, but I would never turn these things loose on the American people ever. 330 Crypto asks, William, could you tell me, are we humans under threat by the Reptilians? By being a food source to them? It's just one threat they pose, but I've seen an alleged video on YouTube where a Russian soldier was killed by 3 or 4 reptilians. That was filmed from a helicopter in thermal vision. And finally, are the areas Canton, Jackson Township, and Carrollton in Ohio safe after dark? The first 2 I've had brief and scary encounters in, and the third is a rural city in which I spend a lot of my youth at my grandparents' 20-acre farm. I'm sorry for the long and possible foolish questions, just thirsty for knowledge. Answer: we are not a known food source for the reptilians. I do believe that at one time there were so many of them that it may have been possible, but now most stay in their underwater homes and don't venture far from that very often at all. Could someone share that link with me, please? I am having trouble locating it. I would like to watch it, the heat diagram, to see what they are watching before I comment on this, please. Okay, these two you will be all right in, to do what you want at night. They are Canton and Jackson. Play freely with no problems whatsoever. Carlton, you better stay inside and close your doors of your home at night. There's lots of activity going on everywhere across that whole area. Heavy use. Hope your grandparents listen to you about this, or you can convince them to stay inside at night. One, please, at least, try your best. Elizabeth Sisney, statement and question. I would like to know if there are Dogman, Werewolf in Yosemite, Kings Canyon, or the Sierra Mountains. It is very sad that family of someone who had an encounter with these cryptids don't believe them. Worse yet is to ridicule them. I am positive they can see and sense the fear in them as they describe their encounter. Families should always support each other and consider this. Recognize that something terrible happened and terrifying has happened to them. They may not believe it was a dogman or a werewolf, but because of the fear and the change in them after an encounter, support them by helping them get through it any way you can. Even if it's just listening and researching the werewolf and dogman on the web. This way they will find that there are many encounters being reported daily. I believe if they take the time to research for themselves, not only are they going to show support, but they may just realize that these cryptids exist. Answer: none of these places are actually safe unless you are going in a large group for an overnight stay. I would be talking about 6 or more. You can then feel pretty safe at that point, no less than 4. Here they are from the safest to least safest, okay? Kings Canyon is your safest to go to, followed by the Sierra Mountain Range, and last would be Yosemite National Park. Day hikes, you will be good. Don't get caught out after dark unless you are with a group, and always watch your sides in these areas, especially if you experience a quiet zone. Elizabeth, if you don't care, I am going to use your statement here for the Lieutenant General's statement he is making in a brochure to help spread the word around about the Big Three in the North American country. And hopefully he will later this year let me take a shot at raising some Bigfoot in captivity this year and for the next couple of years. Phoenix DS asks, I wonder if Sebastian would read any of the Bibles from each different denomination of Christianity, and, without getting into a philosophical debate over them, to say whether they are false account or if some, if any, held any validity. Answer: I gave him a copy nearly 15 years ago. That had 4 different versions of the Bible in it, and he guards it like you have never seen. If one of the females asks to see it, he will let them, but if they in any way seem to abuse it or mistreat it, he will throw them across the enclosure and hurt them awful, sometimes bad. He will not debate the Bible with me. I truly believe that in his heart that he knows I know more about the subject than he does, and he just doesn't want to be put in the hours it would take to challenge me on the subject. I also think he believes it to be real and true. Mind Space Invader asks, William, sir, I have a question. These creatures, Dogman and Werewolf, would be used as a line of defense and offense if this country were to be invaded by an unknown military force. I would be very shocked if any known country would try to invade this country. You have talked about the lizard people, however. You have never gone into much detail. Are the lizard people a real threat? No, sir, they are not a threat to the United States. Whatsoever, their numbers are nowhere near what they used to be, and are getting fewer each year. I think that they know this, and that is the reason they stay so much inside their underwater caves and things these days, and never try to show as much as they did at one time. Swamp Creature asks, what is the difference between Dogman and Werewolf? Okay, here we go again. Look on YouTube at the trailer for the movie Dog Soldiers 2002, and this will give you the best look at what the modern-day Dogman looks like. They have a snout and a tail, also a mane around their heads. This will give you a Dogman. Also has funny bent legs to go along with their body. The Werewolf looks like the YouTube find Lon Chaney Jr. 1941. I believe, and add some height, around 7'10" and 450 pounds, no clothes, human legs, human arms, no jaws sticking out, only teeth, all muscle, and you will have a werewolf. Werewolf against Dogman, both fully grown and healthy. Werewolf wins every fight, no questions asked. Dallas Caldwell asks, a question for Mr. William. I know you can't give the number, but is it safe to go out at night in Watertown, Tennessee? Dallas, you need to put your livestock up at night. If you have a way to do so, horses, cattle, anything like that you can put up in a barn for protection. Do it. And don't hesitate to get it done before dark. Then you and your family need to stay indoors and not go outside for anything that you hear. If you hear anything hitting on the house or tapping on the windows, get everyone in one spot in the house, and this is where you stay until help arrives. Call the sheriff or the game warden. They will get you the help you need. They may not act like they will not, but I almost guarantee they will call my office if they see something that warrants our attention. Jovan White asks, my question is, do you know why most African Americans don't know about or haven't had experiences with these creatures? Or, if they did, they assume they are seeing things. Most of my family and friends think I'm crazy, and they still can't figure out why all of the apples and pears come up missing at night, or why they hear whistling at night and rocks being thrown. Answer? I think that they either don't want to be talked about or saying that they ever seen one and just deny the experience altogether so no one will know about it. And that's a terrible shame, so much information lost, just because some idiot will make fun of them. Once again, it comes down to not wanting to be ridiculed by anyone, and that's a terrible thing to go through. Those rocks being thrown is a sign of aggression, and that can turn very ugly. Javon, you need to try to talk some sense into your family before someone gets hurt bad. Those creatures are not playing when they start throwing rocks. They are throwing them to hurt someone, and will very soon. Please keep me updated, Javon. I am in Folk, Arkansas again with more problems, so here I am again. I will be watching for messages from you through Jeff. Bill. Ava Roden asks, William, did you work with the HACC Wildlife Refuge attack? Answer, yes, that was mine. Actually, both cases that happened there were mine. Just making sure which one you are talking about. The two guys on bikes, I assume, is the one most people know about, anyway. Paula, Island Mom, asks, Hi, are my kids safe on Whidbey Island, particularly South Coopville, Washington? I work in my yard late at night. We have coyotes around here, but no other predators. Answer: Paula, I hate to break the news to you, and I don't know how they got there, but Deception Pass State Park is crawling with these critters. Both breeds must have swam over, and they are strong swimmers. I wouldn't want to be out at night anywhere north on this island, sorry to say, but not me, unless I'm on the hunt myself. Geo asks, William, a hypothetical for you. If I hunted any cryptids that were ill-willed and had a high kill count, would I get in trouble with your organization or have a job offering? I've thoroughly researched civilian technologies available and could easily manufacture anything required to complete any task. I've also always had an interest in this line of work. I am no stranger to unworldly and what lie beneath our synthesized reality. Geo, what is your military background? How many confirmed kills do you have? What branch were you in? What years? Start with all of this and we can move forward from here. There is one you can't falsify, so we will see. Are you active now? What is your age now? Answer these to me and we will talk. When I ask for proof, better have it in your hands. Bill. Also, yes, as a matter of fact, you will get in trouble if you go hunting these things in the woods. I spoke to Bill for a while today, almost 2 hours, and we were discussing about people hunting them for sport or because they did damage to their property or harmed their animals. The only time you will not get in trouble is if you are being attacked, your family are being attacked, or your animals are being attacked, and it is within eyesight. So let's say a Dogman or a werewolf or a Sasquatch come and attack your dog, and your dog dies. You witness this, you take aim and shoot it in the head, it dies. More than likely you will not be in trouble. But if you witness the attack and the animal or creature, however you want to refer to it, runs out into the woods, you have to go inside, get your firearm. Once you lose sight of the creature, that's when it becomes unlawful. They do belong to us, these creatures. They are property of the United States government, but as Americans, they belong to us. They're not for us to hunt. They're not deer. They're not rabbits. So yeah, you can get in trouble if you go into the woods and you've got some experience tracking and you go hunting them. That's when you get in trouble. And I agree wholeheartedly with William. We discussed it at great length today. And yeah. So because there were a couple of people that were talking about just going out hunting them with acid and a bunch of crazy shit. And that's illegal. It's illegal. And don't do it, because you're gonna get hurt 9 out of 10 times, probably 9.5 out of 10 times. You're gonna get hurt, and then if you do, you're gonna get in severe trouble. So I mean, that's the answers to it. That's the real answer. Don't go hunting them. I keep having to say it, but I hate saying it. But just don't. Save yourself the trouble. Susan Bushaw asks, I had a question about female werewolves. Can they have white and gray fur and blue eyes? Yes, the female's fur can be this color, especially if they are wild and getting up in age. Their eye color will also change at different colors at a later age. Steve Robinson asks, I don't understand the response to the question about Hawaii 2324. I don't get that answer. Steve, I was telling her that I had never been to Hawaii for any of the big three, that we had not been called there because we dropped no cryptids in this state. But I was telling her I couldn't guarantee her about what might be in the water. DD Kegs 888 asks, William, it sounds like your unit is small. Does the U.S. provide the eye on the sky satellite surveillance for your hunts? Real-time thermal surveillance as you proceed? You can use an earpiece to get the numbers in your area. I'm guessing funding, but considered your solo in short numbers, it seems the right update for your hunts. Yes, at full strength, it will be a 21-man unit, not including the leader of the unit. That would be something great to have, especially if you were hunting solo. Yes, it was funding that has kept us from getting it, but once I get back to Virginia, I will be able to see where our former CO had been putting our funding, and we may be able to further prosecute him. It just seems that our funding comes up way short of what we are entitled to into the field. But I don't know this until I check it out for myself. Omni Providienta asks, have you had a chance to ask William about the summer lands at Cully Tolko State Park and the alliance that once was held between the small Golden Dawn Church that once watched over one another many years ago? Answer: now I'm going to have to research this and see what I can come up with, as I am drawing a blank from the memory at time. Also, William picks out these questions. He answers the questions he reads in the comments. I don't just send William questions so when people refer, hey, why aren't these questions being answered? My question's so much better. Let's not pull a Karen, okay? He picks the questions he feels have merit, he feels could educate us more. Okay, nothing against anybody if he doesn't answer your question. It's not because he doesn't like you or I'm not showing him the questions. No, he picks them out. He reads them. He listens to this and reads the comments. That's how questions get answered. Jessica D asks, cats are starting to disappear over town. We don't know what's happening. Sometimes we can hear a cat fighting for its life at night, but we can't hear what's fighting another cat or a dog. Even everything goes silent and the cat disappears. Do you know what's happening? First, Jessica, what town and state are you talking about? Also, is there a quietness before the cats start to sound like they are in distress? You say you can only hear one animal in a fight. Have you tried to make sure your domestic pets like this are put inside the home at night? Answer these for me, and they will help me answer what's happening to your pets. Bill. Victor Porter asks, can you ask Mr. William if the Wampus beast is real? Answer: the old Wampus Cat has not seen one since I was a child, and my dad pointed one out to me on a camping trip. I will never forget his words to me that night. I pray this is the only cryptid that you will ever see. That, my son, is a Wampus Cat. He then proceeded to scare it away from our camp, but it came back later that night, and he killed it and put it in a large 50-pound potato sack and carried it back to Virginia with him 2 days later. Sean B. asks, from what I've researched about Lamora, it's either believed to be a continent on Earth that was destroyed. However, I also read that some individuals believe it was a planet that was destroyed or became inhabitable. From your understanding, do you know which of these it is? Also, you estimated that there were approximately 65,000 here in the United States. I realize that they don't like to divulge information when you apprehend them at the president's speeches and such. Have you or the government as a whole been able to determine what their MO is? I get the impression that they are and consider themselves a separate species from ourselves. With having that many non-human entities residing in our country that can take on our appearance and cannot be spotted without having a momentarily eye change or being scanned by someone having a non-contact infrared thermometer, it feels distinctly like having enemies already within the gates, so to speak. Is there a concern about this from you personally if you were unable to speak for the government as a whole? Is there any web page or books that actually contain factual information about these beings that you are aware of? A fantastic set of questions. Thank you, Sean B. Here's William's answer. It was a continent below the ocean that I have been taught, and that was destroyed many years ago, nearly wiping out the entire reptilian population at once, and their place to live entirely. Now forced to only change once to a human and then back to a reptilian, they live under the water and go in caves or hidden areas in the ocean. When we take them into the so-called custody and interrogate them, and they change over, they then are placed into an enclosure we have for them. And at some time in the future, they will be put to sleep, much like a convicted killer is when its time is up. We have done this to around 11,000 of these executions so far, so their number are still falling even today. They cannot last for great lengths of time as a human before they change back to a reptilian. And now, since they have lost that ability to change multiple times in doing this, some just give up, and some return to the ocean to stay as long as they can. Many bodies have been washing up in Mexico and in the far northern California beaches. I have a book at my house in Virginia that I need to get the name of, and I will let people know what it is. It's supposed to be true facts about it. Don't let me forget to do this for you guys, Bill. Sylvia DeLo asks, William, are you worried about the werewolf and or Dogman, including the wilds, ever turning against the government and attacking? Not just but examples like in Planet of the Apes. Answer, no, Sylvia, we run tests every month about complying with orders that are sent out, and we can watch them carry these orders out due to knowing where they are and being able to watch on CCTV at times. We are in full control right now of all of the tagged breeds. Yes, I understand what you're saying, but we have many more safety measures in place that I am in charge of that you people will never have a clue about. Sorry I can't discuss them with you, it's just part of it. B-Dog OG asks, just wondering if you feel like you've lost a step or two, and if you could still take out 3 hostiles on your own. I live right now in Yellowstone and have heard and seen some weird stuff while hiking in the bush. I've never actually seen what it is making those noises. I know you can't give numbers, but is it safe to hike around the southwest corner of the park, not actually inside the boundaries, but close? I also hike with a custom .338 Lapua and a .50 cal Desert Eagle. Will the .338 take down a Bigfoot? Answer, yes, I am starting to lose some of my speed. Seems like on my last 3 hunts, they have been able to get to me and injure me in some way. First the cave people, then a dogman got a hold of my elbow. And the last hunt, the Bigfoot clubbed me twice before I even seen him, and my shoulders right now are jet black down below my shoulder blades. And this used to never happen at all. Now, about every hunt, they get to me somehow. Yes, Yellowstone is one of the most populated areas in the country with them at the present time. Both are great guns. I use a Desert Eagle 50 cal as my sidearm, but if you cannot hit a baseball traveling 38 miles an hour every time with that Lapua, I am afraid you come up short on the Bigfoot. I use a .458 Winchester Magnum. Alright guys, well, I wanted to get out some more Q&A, but I'm not really feeling up to it. I kind of just want to lay down. I apologize. I do have more Q&A right here. I'll get to that tomorrow for you guys. Just not feeling good, and I just want to keep on the regiment that I was directed to do, which is rest all the time until, whatever. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the Q&A. I do have, like I said, more Q&A. I really have a truly amazing surprise for you come Monday. You guys are going to be blown away, and I cannot friggin' wait until Monday. I am stoked about this. And I know you guys are going to be. So I want to thank everybody for all your support. And once again, I apologize for cutting it short. I just need to rest tonight. So with that, guys, I'm going to bid you guys farewell. And thanks again. I appreciate everything.